Hey guys, Chris here from New Zealand. Hope you're doing well. So looking at today's stocks, just before we're looking at the new ones that we'll be adding to the watch list, just a note on yesterday's one. I did leave it in the comments, but I noticed that there was some bug with my app that I developed, Market Investor Pro, and it doesn't always give me the indicators of the current selected item. Sometimes it keeps the previous one in memory. I think I fixed it now. But anyway, I mentioned based off of that that I wouldn't be going into the Google shares, but I then picked up on the problem and in fact I decided to do so, and that's already returning a bit of a profit today, which is great. Also, Zebra, it's flagging up as red here, not because it's a loss, but because in my settings I've told it to notify me when I make a profit of $450 or more, or a loss of $250 or more. So we're currently seeing that being displayed here. So I'm going to close out this deal. If I look at the technical indicators on Zebra, making sure I've got the right one here, that's correct. So if we look at the stochastics, we can see it's above that 70 line and it seems to be turning a bit on that trend. So for me, that's a cue to sell. So I'm gonna click on going short. The program will know automatically to close it out and all of that at the current trade value, which is 374.5. so I will close that out, and there we go. So there's a profit of $483.30 in 5 days, which is not bad. Pfizer, it's not doing too hot at this stage, but we'll wait for the good news, hopefully around the 10th of December, and see what happens. ADI, let's have a look at that. It's not near the desired profit range yet, but let's see. Yeah, I might let it run another day, keep a careful eye on it and make sure, let me mark it, make sure that it doesn't dip as soon as it starts to dip. I'd rather take $209 than nothing. So that's it. Now if we look at the other stocks here, so we've got Honeywell, that's doing okay. It should still be rising through the stochastics here, so another day or two we'll let that go for now. Let it carry on. Innovative industrial properties, so that's another one we looked at. Let's look at technical indicators, and I need to make a habit of making sure that I am looking at the right data. So here also we can see that's not very good news. It looks like, you know, this trend might not just go straight up, which is always better. It might follow something similar along these lines and slowly pick up. Let's let it ride a bit, but I'm going to mark that one also, so that tells me to keep an eye on it. On Match Group, still again early days for this trade, but we'll see what happens in after the next day's trade. And then Google already making a good profit there. So just to show you again what that looks like, this is the Google technical indicators at this stage. So we can see big gap there on the MACD and the stochastics looking positive. Okay, with all that being said, let's have a look at today's top stocks. So I'm going to run through my stock finder, and I'm going to set the last close minimum at 40 and the maximum at 2000. Leave the rest as it is. I want to look for bullish trends, and I'm going to set the minimum ATR for 5, same as yesterday, and we'll hit find. This will run for a few minutes, so you'll see there's a 7,130 stocks to scan through, and the finder will look for stocks that match the criteria, where we've got the min and max closes above those values, and where we've got the volume greater than 500,000. You can see it's already picking up a few here. AMP, which I did have a look at already, and I actually already discussed yesterday. We can see AON there already. So let's have this run, and when it's done, I'll rejoin you again. Okay, so we're back, and I've got a whole list of 21 stocks to go through. So some of them ones that have popped up recently, like AMP and some of the others here, Google, Facebook. So I'm going to run through them. I don't have to run through AMP again because we've already done that. AON we can have a look at, so I'm going to click on View. It'll add it to my temporary watch list, and it'll then pop up with the technical charts. So right, so we can see here what's happening. It's at the bottom of the stochastics. We see the MACDs crossing there and a little bit close. The candles all over the show. So no thank you, not for me. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, have a look at the industry trends on Finviz and see, you know, what industries are doing compared to the S&P 500. If an industry is going up or down, that might have an effect on a stock sitting within that industry. So BHVN, let's have a look at this one. Not too fond of healthcare really, and although stochastics is okay, MACD looks okay-ish. And then on the relative strength index, we can see that it's been trending here at this top level at 70. But I don't think I'm going to go into the healthcare sector today. So I'm going to run through the rest of these, and then I'll let you know what I've come up with. Right, so here we go. I'll work backwards from my list. So we'll start with the last one here, which is Workday. Workday looking promising, provided we get an upturn here in the stochastics. It looks like we've got an upwards trend or turn here, or reversal of the trend here on the relative strength index. So hopefully it will break above this 50 line again and continue upwards. MACD, yes, this is bearish, but it hasn't crossed over within the last 5 days, so that for me is a good sign. And I think there's some potential for profit here. If we look at this $213.13 or 14 cents, with the potential of reaching 230, at least 220 again. So there's some margin for profit there. I'll definitely look at Workday. What else we got here? Constellation Brands. So on this one, again, not the greatest ideal pattern that I'm usually looking for on the candles, but seems like there's quite a bullish turn on the stochastics, especially on the MACD and also on the RSI. So definitely I'll be looking at this one. If we look at Ring Central, same story really. I'm going to wait for the stochastics to turn first, so I'll keep it there for a day or two. And on second thought, I notice now, I might have missed it later, we've got what I refer to as the duck face happening here. I don't like that. That usually is a bad sign, so I'm going to remove this stock from my watch list so I don't get into that trade. Alright, and then we've got here, what's this, Jones Lang something, LaSalle Incorporated. Okay, looking good, looking fairly bullish actually. One thing I'm just concerned about is whether there's some kind of a support here at the top that is being hit. So I want to look at some additional trading view indicators on this one, just to see if maybe there's a support here, because it looks like it's bouncing off some support here at the top, which could potentially mean that we don't get to break through any further than what we are. So when we look at the candles, we want to be a bit closer to the EMA 18 at least, and not so far back, because usually it can trigger a snapback, dropping in prices. But in addition to all of those indicators, it looks fairly promising. So this one might be a potential candidate. Let's look at the training view indicators here. So that's for Jones Lang. Yeah, it seems it has hit the stop here more than once, which could indicate a temporary support struggling to break through this level here at 142-ish, 141-ish. It might be a little bit risky, but here we can see the EMA 9, but we can see a strong uptrend here. The stochastics you see here is for different frequencies, or the MACD is, and the stochastics are different frequencies to the one that I've set up within my own program, but it will give us a good idea of what's happening. Again, a little bit of a duck head, although it did not cross over, but on the stochastics we can see some upturn. I will mark this one and have a look at it again tomorrow, but I'm not overly confident with that one. Google I already went in for, as I mentioned. There was another one here I wanted to talk about, and that was Nvidia. So Nvidia is the other one. We can see they're bouncing off the MA50, hopefully doing what we've seen here around the what is that, the 2nd of November. Again, I'm going to wait for that to turn before I get into this deal, but it's something to look out for. So the ones that I'll go for today would be Workday and Constellation Brands. I'm going to keep an eye on the other ones. I might have a look. Oh, I already did match group, so no point in doing that again. Yeah, there we go. So you can see we've got match group there. So yeah, that'll be my call for today. Constellation Brands and Workday. That's it for me. Thanks guys. Trade safe, and remember, don't base your trades off of my interpretations of the market. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not an expert by any means. I've just set up my own system and my own rules, and I trade using those rules, and for me it yields good results, but those will vary. You need to do research, and you need to know something about the stock market. It is volatile and it's high risk. So all the best. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications of tomorrow's top picks from my side, and remember to hit like. Cheers.